Good morning, Martha, and thank you for joining us today. Could I get you to introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Christopher. It's great to be with you this morning. I'm the Reverend Martha Tatarnic, and I am the co-rector here at St. George's in St. Catharines, where we're having this conversation this morning. And I'm also a long-distance runner. I'm a musician. I'm a writer, a sometimes podcaster, and I am the theme presenter for the Summer Institute of Church Musicians this coming July.
Great, and we're very excited to have you as part of our program this year. Could you tell us a little bit about your personal relationship with music? I know you come from a music degree, but you seem to write about it a lot as well, and in your ministry, of course, it's there too.
Yeah, absolutely. My parents were both music teachers, and music was just in my blood from the earliest age. It's not only being just part of the fabric of my daily life to be a musician, but really for me it is my primary way of drawing close to God. It for me is the most powerful form of prayer.
Wonderful. Well, the board of the Institute was attracted to you first by reading your second book. And this book resonated with both a phase that the Institute was going through in its own history, but also with the situation many churches in Canada are facing as well. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, there were three threads of experience that really came together in the writing of this book. And the first one was growing up and serving for 20 years in a church that institutionally has been in decline for that entire time. I just have no experience of the golden days of the church, where Sunday schools were full to overflowing, where that booming expansion of the church was taking place. I have always been in living and serving in a church that has been, at least on an institutional level, concerned about its own survival. And closely related to that is the second thread, which was that toward the end of 2019, I was really avoiding dealing with the fact that I was pretty close to burnout. There were a lot of factors at work, but a big piece of that was just the weight that I had gotten really good at carrying about trying to save the church.
Right.
Yeah, like if I just do more, if I just give more, if I just start another program, then it's all going to be okay. And then the third piece was a little thing called COVID, which...
I remember.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody remembers that. Because all of a sudden, this thing that I had devoted so much of my life and my energy toward shut down, and in the midst of all of those regular patterns of how we experience and gather as the life of the church being no longer possible, it became really important to ask why any of it matters. That became a central question, I think, for me, and I think it became a central question for us. Like, if we're going to go to heroic lengths to continue to try to do this thing, like, it better matter.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that leads me to the theme that we set for the Institute, and it's called Why Church Music Matters, Facing Decline and Reclaiming Hope. And these are words that are sort of gradually extracted from your own work. So it resonated with us. And in our discussions about what is going to take place in your presentations at the Institute this summer, we have spoken about our 3 program days. The first day, you introduced a term called ultra-realism, What is that?
Yeah, so ultra realism is a term that I got from being a long distance runner. Um, when you're out running, 30 kilometers or training for a marathon, you can spend a lot of time being undone by wishing that things were different or worrying about what is going to come next. And so that process or that mental fitness exercise of ultra realism gets the runner instead to focus on what is actually happening and then what you're going to do about it. So we kind of break that into 3 steps: seeing, accepting, and embracing. And at the heart of those 3 steps is just really being clear about what is in my power, what I can control, and what I can't. So, accepting the things that I can't do anything about, but then embracing the choices that I can make in the midst of all of that.
Right.
There's
And
a metaphor here, right?
obviously, yes.
Not just for running.
I think musicians watching this conversation, a lot of it will already be resonating with them. Well, that's okay. So that's our first day. That's ultra realism. What happens on our second day? We're talking about understanding and embracing what we do, what we actually offer now as musicians.
Yeah, and I think that what I'm really interested in doing is delving into and breaking down what what music in the life of the church has to offer a spiritually hungry world and has to offer in terms of how we claim the good news for this moment, for this church, not for the church that we wish we were or that we have nostalgia from
Right.
yesteryear. Like, this is the church now, and how does that clarify the role and the offering that music plays in inviting people into a life-giving relationship with God?
I'm glad you put it that way because it certainly goes beyond the simple role of music within worship, which is an understandable preoccupation. But music within the life of a congregation, it often is a gathering point in other ways. It certainly is an instigator and an enabler of social contact, combined endeavor, and many other aspects.
Yeah, well, and I think that it allows people a point of access into the teachings of the church that bypasses a lot of the 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 wordiness, the doctrine that can feel unintelligible or like a barrier to people who are well outside of the realm of the formation of the Christian church.
Right, so music is inherently an opportunity in a position where the church faces challenges. Okay, well,
Absolutely.
that's our second day. That's great. And then our third day has to do with part of our title, which is reclaiming hope. So, what happened to hope?
Yeah, what happened to hope? I think that we have spent so much time, in my experience anyway, in ministry, and I think for so many of us who have been serving in ministry for any length of time, I think that we've spent so much time lamenting, so much time trying to get back to what we used to have, or just pedaling as fast as we can as if what our job is to survive. And I think that the opportunity and the hope is that in the midst of decline, we can become clear in a new way about what it is that we offer and why it matters to a world that is really hurting. And spoiler alert, like, what we have to offer is not just come and join us because we're dying.
Good way to put it, although it can feel that way sometimes.
Yeah.
But that is where reclaiming hope comes
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. We just really need to reframe the question of who we are and what it is that we're trying to do.
Great. Okay, well, I am really excited about this. We're just thrilled that you've been able to join us this coming July 9th to 11th in Whitby, Ontario, and across the country in online sessions as well. So thank you so much for this time this morning, and I look forward to seeing you and all the rest of our faculty and students in person and online in Whitby this summer.
Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, that's it from here at St. George's Anglican Church in downtown St. Catharines, Ontario. Canada's Summer Institute of Church Music meets this July 9th to 11th in Whitby, Ontario, and across Canada in online sessions that you can join on your own or with a group of musicians around you. Go to SICM.ca to register and for more information. Thanks.